Bonjour tout le monde, j'espère que ça va bien, puis j'espère que vous profitez de votre été dans notre belle ville. On a tellement des belles températures. Notre vidéoblog, aujourd'hui, on vous parle des trottinettes électroniques. Je suis entouré d'elles aujourd'hui. C'est un projet pilote qui a été renouvelé à la ville pour une autre saison. On a deux entreprises qui ont été choisies, qui sont permis d'opérer à Ottawa, le groupe Neuron et le groupe Bird. Plusieurs résidents appartiennent aussi leurs trottinettes électroniques. En voici un petit aperçu. Les trottinettes électroniques offrent une opportunité incroyable. Cependant, il existe deux enjeux structurels et très problématiques. Voilà pourquoi ça demeure un projet pilote à Ottawa où les unités sont stationnées pour ne pas bloquer les trottoirs et la responsabilisation des usagers et des organisations de s'assurer qu'aucun trottoir soit bloqué et aussi où les unités sont utilisées, suivent les lois de la route, pas conduire sur le trottoir et suivre la direction des voies. Évidemment, s'assurer que les services de police d'Ottawa sanctionnent lorsqu'il y a des infractions. Ça demeure les enjeux fondamentaux des trottinettes électroniques à Ottawa. On est patient, il y a des améliorations technologiques, ça demeure un projet pilote.
There have been several technological improvements introduced in the 2022 pilot in Ottawa. Of course, we took the time in 2021 to pilot some of this technology at Lansdowne Park to demonstrate it to the city and various stakeholders like the accessibility community and the accessibility advisory committee. And so we learned from some of that testing, if you like, or piloting of that technology, primarily anti-sidewalk riding technology and some parking related technologies, so that this year we could turn around and implement them, not just in a pilot area, in a smaller area at Lansdowne Park, but pilot them across the entire operational service area for Ottawa. So those two primary technologies are the technology to detect when a scooter enters a sidewalk. And when it does that, the technology recognizes the scooter is on the sidewalk. It slows down the scooter safely and has it come to a complete stop. The rider can then no longer access the motor aspect of the e-scooter via the throttle. The motor is completely disengaged. They can still walk the scooter like you can legally walk a bicycle on the sidewalk, but you're unable to engage the motor. There's no motor on the sidewalk. The other technology that was deployed or is being deployed this year this is across the entire operational service area in Ottawa. And that operational service area, we're starting smaller, both companies that are operating this year in Ottawa, and then we're gradually expanding that service area responsibly as we map out various parts of the city to expand to. And that parking technology, what we've done this year is essentially over the entire operational service area, there is a no park zone. So riders are unable to end their trip across the entire zone. However, within the zone, there are two primary parking spots, and those are the city, what's known as the city designated parking spots. Those are, if you're out and about in the community, you might see painted boxes with bollards. These are sort of plastic sticks that have been designated as key areas for scooters to be deployed to, and where riders can park their scooters at. Those have been installed by the city. And then in addition to those areas, there are various areas that you'll notice in the app. So when you open up the app from Bird, you would notice several P's, P for parking, capital P. Those are areas that we've installed digitally. There's no markings in the physical world that would show you if you were walking down a street that there's scooter parking here, but you would notice it in the app. You can only end your trip at either the city corrals or the spots that exist virtually in the app. If you try to end your ride somewhere that isn't one of those two places, the app will notify you that you're unable to end your trip in this area and will redirect you to the nearest permitted parking area. So those are the two key technologies that have been deployed this year that were piloted last year in Ottawa at various parts of the city, now are in operation across the entire operating
All right, so this year we've got some new features on the Neuron e-scooter. Of course, they remain bright orange, easy to see on the streets. But the one thing that riders will immediately notice this year is that the e-scooters will emit a noise when you're riding on the street. So there will be a noise when you start your ride, and there will be a noise when you finally get on the scooter and begin to move forward. The e-scooters also have some new prompts on them, so like last year, riders will be able to enjoy the voice-guided assistance, which remains a key feature on the Neuron e-scooter. In addition to that, we have precision geofence on our e-scooters this year, which means that sidewalk riding will not be permitted, and the scooter will come to a slow stop on a sidewalk, let you know that you've entered onto a sidewalk and to return to an appropriate area to ride. In addition to that, there's also restricted parking, which means that you need to end your ride in an area where there is a designated parking spot. So to do that, you match your e-scooter to the spot that you can see in your app, and then you'll be able to end your ride. Features that are on the e-scooter this year that remained last year that users have been used to include QR code reporting, which is on the top of the stem for every e-scooter. You will also have the new bell this year, which is manually cranked. So it's a new feature on the e-scooter this year. And of course, users will be able to enjoy the use of a helmet if they choose to wear one in the city of Ottawa, which is on every e-scooter.
Great question. There's a few things I'll highlight. So first thing right off the bat is one of the key accountability measures is financial. So if you are attempting to end your ride in an area that is not either the city implemented designated parking spots that are painted box with the bollards, plastic bollards that are identifying this as scooter parking, or in one of the capital P parking areas that are delineated in the Bird app, and there's lots of them that have been, again, all of those spots have been pre-cleared with the city, so we know those are safe, compliant, out of the way parking areas for scooters, and we're constantly working with the city to evaluate those and adjust them if need be based on community feedback. If you attempt to park in areas that are outside of those two areas I just described, you're unable to, and the app will have your credit card continue to be charged. So if you're attempting to end your ride somewhere that's not permitted, your credit card keeps being charged. There's a large financial disincentive. Most people, most of the time, don't like to lose money. So they want their ride to end and have their credit card stop being charged. So that's a key motivation for people to make the right decision in terms of parking. Other ways we hold them accountable is, you've noticed, like last year, in fact, Bird Canada piloted this technology, if you like, in Ottawa in 2020. We subsequently rolled it out across Canada, but Ottawa was the first city. So it's been in Ottawa since 2020. And that is what we call, it's not a license plate, but we call it, in quotes, a license plate. It's a unique identifier number on the neck, on both sides of the neck of the e-scooter. And that unique identifier allows us to hold riders accountable. Riders are no longer anonymous. You may not know it's Chris, me, riding that e-scooter, but you will know it's XY1 making the number up. Scooter number, riding that scooter at the intersection of Elgin and wherever it might be in Ottawa. And with that information on our back end, we can identify that rider and hold them accountable. For riders that are infringing the rules, we will reach out to them via email with a reminder, like an educational reminder about, hey, why, for example, double riding is not permitted, two people riding on an e-scooter, why that's dangerous. If the behavior is repeated, we have the option to fine them through the app, or and we do this. We did it routinely last year as well, and we continue to do it this year, is ban riders for particularly egregious behavior that is in contravention of the rules. Of course, that is separate activity from the ongoing bylaw work that the city conducts itself in terms of enforcing its bylaws. The other thing I would add is there is again this year, as there has been in years past, a Safe Street Patrol. That is a Bird Canada team They're identified. You'll see them with T-shirts that say Bird Canada, maybe a hat as well, Bird Canada. They're out patrolling key areas of our operating zone daily. So they will flag riders down for doing things that are inappropriate. So perhaps they're going down a street the opposite direction that they're not permitted, or they're double riding, or whatever the case might be. We'll bring it to their attention. Most riders will stop when we flag them down. We'll have a conversation with them. If it's not particularly egregious, we'll educate, but we have the option, of course, because we take note of the number, the unique identifier or license plate on the neck of the scooter when we interact with riders, or when our Safe Street Patrol interacts with riders. And we can hold them accountable via that mechanism through fining or banning of the rider. And when we ban a rider, we ban their smartphone device. So that means they simply can't sign up with another email address. They'd have to actually get a completely new phone, and that's a pretty high barrier. So it's a pretty effective way of dealing with folks, because they know, and we know, how popular the shared e-scooter program is in Ottawa. And folks, particularly folks that don't want to lose access to being able to make that choice for a trip to hop on a shared scooter, they're going to, particularly if they hear a friend or colleague was penalized or banned, they're going to think twice about doing the same thing. So those mechanisms I just described are just some of the key ways we hold riders accountable for proper parking and riding behavior in the city of Ottawa.
Is pleased this year to launch our Scoot Safe Academy here in the city of Ottawa. There are modules for riders to complete in education who are on the app. Riders will notice when they do log into the app, every time after their initial initiation into the Neuron riding program, that they'll be reminded of the rules. Primarily being no sidewalk riding, which is clearly put on every e-scooter. The scooter will also tell you not to do certain things as well. And in addition to that, if you are in contravention of the rules, you will receive a friendly email from us reminding you of the rules in Ottawa. And then if you continue to persist to breach the rules and your agreement, you would potentially not be allowed on the app anymore.
Le potentiel, comme j'ai souligné, des trottinettes électroniques est considérable quand on peut penser que dans quelques années, tout près de 75% des résidents d'Ottawa seront à moins de 5 km d'une station du train léger. Ne pas avoir de véhicule ou laisser le véhicule à la maison puis utiliser d'autres technologies, le vélo, la marche et les trottinettes électroniques font partie d'un éventail d'outils qui sont intéressants. Plusieurs villes ont abandonné les trottinettes électroniques dans son complet. On est patient à la Ville d'Ottawa, ça demeure un projet pilote.